Hi everyone, it's Jerry. I have another interesting game to share with you. On the white end, the LeelaKnightOdds, no Queen Knight, playing against Grandmaster former player on lichess. We start out with the Larsen Attack. This was a rapid game, 10 minutes each, 5-second increment, played October 29th. This early phase, non-confrontational, each going for their own little setup. And this move a3, I believe, is designed to hold up a quick strike in the center. If c5 here, I believe we would have the capture, and should queen a5 check be there, you're not tracking that pawn down. a3 supports b4 in that position. Okay. It's castles here. Restriction on the knight, one way to look at it. It also supports a frequent move we see in these LeelaKnightOdds games: g4, b6, knight e2, c5 only now, g4, bishop a6, queen d2, knight c6, and here we have castles. First move you can't play if you had the queen knight to start. The evaluation in this position with the queen knight reads minus 0.7, and it suggests the best move is to go ahead and develop that queen knight to its only square. All right, from here we have queenside castles, tension resolved, half open file, get out of any pins, support for an e5 break, castled on opposite wings, h4, e5 break, d takes e, knight takes e, f3 under fire, supported. Okay. Follow up, light square bishop exchange, h5. This is considered a top move. Response, take on h5, knight blockading this pawn, and as soon as this knight moves, this pawn no longer has that job to control the e4 square. You don't have a piece to keep out of e4, f4. Knight c6, knight b5 with tempo. Bishop captures bishop, knight recapturing a fianchettoed knight. What move do you think Leela plays here? Pause the video if you'd like. Okay, we have now h5. And what do you do in response to this? In the game, the knight retreats, black starts to key in on the f5, g6 squares. You certainly don't want to take with the pawn and have the G file completely opened. And if you take with the knight, I imagine the idea here would have been to play f5. And this is certainly disruptive. You're getting another pawn break in there. If there's some fork here on g3, this would be no problem. Queen h6 is a top response. Meeting knight captures f5 with rook captures knight. Meeting queen captures rook with rook h1, and there isn't a good response to the two main ones. You'd have to give up the queen from here. Okay, in this game we do not see black capture on h5. It's knight e7, knight under fire, knight back to d4, knight e to f5, h takes g. And from here, black removes the knight. Knows that Leela could win a pawn by playing in this way. After knight takes, we have pawn takes, pawn check included, and only then the recapture. Why is black maybe playing in this way? I believe a quick train of thought here is that if I just recapture, white could duck the knight exchange and maybe look to maneuver to this pesky e5 square. Won't be so easy to tame that piece. It says that this is still winning here for black. It does have an eye on this knight g3 move, knight e4, c3 square sensitive. Okay, how black plays it meets the capture with the knight exchange. Pawn takes pawn check, rook takes pawn, queen captures knight. This is move 25. 38 move game. Evaluation here reads about minus 1.2. The extra material, the piece that black has here, the minor piece, is strictly defensive. It's just sticking around, sort of acting like a pawn to defend the king. Meanwhile, nice warm blanket over here for the white king. It's different if this was a bishop and you could at least point to, hey, it's around to shelter the king and it has some offensive capabilities. Not the case here. Sad story for the knight. We have queen f5. We have to watch over c2. Easy enough. Offering a queen exchange, naturally, that's going to be declined. And queen stays active, throwing the knight in a pin. Rook e8, rook g2. Doubling up here on the 7th rank. Queen h2, another offer of a queen exchange, declined. Queen back to e4, rook h2, and from here, rook c7 is played. Another pop quiz. What's your move? Pause the video if you'd like. Okay, rook c7 is considered a blunder. What would have been better is rook f8 or a rook move to one of these squares is what it's pointing out. Tough to know exactly the points behind each of these moves. In this one, we have rook c7, and a top response here is f5. This is one of the top responses. f5 is a winning way, the move in the game. Another one was rook e1. Okay, Leela opens up the queen's eyes, targets this rook. This pawn is poison. In the game, we have rook c6. If you capture this pawn, there's rook takes rook, and queen takes rook, queen takes rook. So black tries to hold up this f6 idea with rook c6. And from here, we have queen b8 check. Now, at the very top, Stockfish is pointing out best would be rook f4. And from here, the queen has a few options. I want to touch on each of these briefly. In the case of queen e5, well, I guess we'll just go in order. In the case of queen e5, there would be a cool sequence with rook h8 check, attracting the king to h8, which paves the way for rook h4 next check, and the queen would fall. All right. In the case of queen e7, there would be queen h3. It's a very strong move. There wouldn't be some quick running away with the queen on e7. Next up, queen h8, rook g4. That's some decisive path. And finally, in the case of queen e8, it likes doubling up on the h-file. Not only threatening mate, but there's also just the skewer idea. No good answer to that. Okay, at the end of the day, rook f4 not played. We have instead queen b8 check, rook f8, queen takes a. Another pop quiz, what's your move here? Pause the video if you'd like. Okay, black has only one move to try and stay in the game. Doesn't play it. We have here rook f to c8. This was the best move. Queen e5. Multi-purpose. Hits the rook, defends the knight, paves the way for rook c7 to neutralize the white queen's pressure on the 7th rank. Not played here. We have the doubling on the c-file, black really keying in on this one square. Another pop quiz, final one of this video. What's your move here? Pause the video if you'd like. Okay, there is only one winning path, and it's to march on with this passer, f6. Threatening mate in 1. Black's play is with rook 6 to c7. The pawn continues to march with check, king f8, rook h8 check, king e7, and after move 38, f8 equals queen, black resigns. Major pieces simply swarming the black king who's been flushed out the fiend Keto Knight watching it all unravel, there's no good answer here. If rook captures queen, this one will lead straight to mate. After queen captures rook, king back, pick your favorite way to collect the rook for mate. And if king e6, there's rook h6 check, and all black has are these silly blocks, and you just capture away and say checkmate. All right, only a 38 mover here out of this Larsen Attack. Your thoughts with this one? Feel free as usual to leave any feedback to this video in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed it and maybe took a thing or two away. That's all for now. Take care.